Hi there, boys and girls. This is Caleb Jones, and this is the
Alpha Male 2.0 podcast.
I'm just chilling out here in Dubai, and very happy to be back here after a month in the United States. Oh, am I so happy to be back. Oh, and I actually started, you know what's funny is I started dreading when I have to leave Dubai again. That's how much I like it here. Anyway, in this podcast, I'm going to discuss a topic that a surprising number of you have asked me about, and I'm surprised at the number of you who have asked me this question. And but hey, I'm here to serve the audience, and so if this is the question you have, I'm here to help. This is for younger guys, so if you're an older guy, older meaning over the age of 35, probably won't help you that much, I don't think, but you can certainly listen if you want, if you're curious. You're certainly, as always, you're invited to the party. One group is always invited to the party if I'm speaking to a specific other group. Anyway, and that is how younger men can get funky with and get lucky with older women. Cougar game. Got a lot of questions about this from you guys. A lot. I guess it kind of makes sense because my audience tends to skew younger. Most of you, or at least the plurality of my audience, I don't think it's majority, but the largest demographic of my audience are men between the age of 25 and 35. So I guess I should be surprised I get this question. And that is, hey, Caleb, I'm a younger guy. How do I hook up with hot older women? Because some guys have surmised, usually correctly, that in some cases, in many cases actually, it is actually easier to get laid as a young, low SMV guy with older women than it is with the super hot chicks who are your age, right? Right. So generally speaking, this isn't always true, okay? I'm making a generalization, but generally speaking, in some scenarios, some social circles, some cities, some countries, yeah, if you're a 22-year-old guy, 21-year-old guy, and you're trying to hook up with the super hot 21-year-old girl, it's a little more difficult because who is the super hot 21-year-old girl hooking up with? Me. Guys like me. So higher SMV guys who are older, who may have more money, more confidence, or whatnot. Maybe not as old as me, although, yes. But, right, so you're competing against, and I found myself with the same problem when I was in my 20s. You're competing against guys who are older than you, more confidence than you, more game than you, usually more money than you. They may not be as good looking as you, but women care about that a little less in terms of visual stimuli than us men. So, yeah, it's tough. And so it's easier often to get with that really good looking woman who's somewhat physically fit, 39-year-old, 35-year-old, 43-year-old who still looks good, right? There are a lot of women in their 40s who look goddamn good. I've been saying this my whole life, right? There are women in their early 50s who look goddamn good. Hell to the yes. And I actually have some experience in this. I actually have a decent amount of experience in this, even though I'm an older man. I'm an old fogey. I'm about to turn 50. And that is, and some of you know this, some of you don't, because I've talked about this before in the past. I lost my virginity as a man in his early 20s. Yes, it took me that long because I was a beta. I lost my virginity in my early 20s with a woman who was married and in her early 40s. Ooh, Caleb, you bad little boy. And then from that point on, just about all the women I dated in my 20s were not only older women, they were much older women, like a lot older. So the woman I lost my virginity to was, I believe, 18 years older than me. And by the way, it was fucking great. I loved her to death. I saw her for a year, consistently, almost every week for a year. It was great. I was so happy because she was cute. She had the exact type of body I like with a big ass and big boobies and small little body. Oh, she was great. And so let's see. After her, I dated a woman who was, I believe, 9 years older than me. And then another woman. And then I ended up marrying a woman, my first wife, who was 6 years older than me. And matter of fact, the joke back then with her was, let's see, I got married when I was 25. She was 31, something like that. I believe that's right. And my joke with her was, you are like the youngest age difference of woman I've ever been with, which is true because up to that point, she was the youngest, not the youngest woman, but maybe she was the youngest woman. No, I don't think she was. But she was the youngest age difference. Actually, she must have been the youngest age difference between me and her, which was quote unquote only 6 years older. So it's kind of funny. So I have some experience in this. I have personal experience in doing this. I have seen guys pull this off. I've talked to guys. I've helped a few guys do this. And I'll give you kind of the general steps in this podcast. First of all, let's define older and younger. I mentioned that earlier. Let's be a little more clear. I am always very clear with my definitions. Younger man means you are age 34 or under. That is a, quote, younger man. If you are 35 or older, you are not a younger man anymore. And sorry, you are an older man. Maybe old, but you're older. Okay? So everything I'm going to talk about here will probably not work for you if you are over the age of 35. Like I said, you can kind of take the day off here. You can listen to this podcast for fun. Maybe you'll get some ideas. I don't know. But don't attempt this if you are 39, because I've had guys do this. Hey, Caleb, I read your thing on Cougar game and I'm 39. You think that'll work for me? No, it won't. No. And the reason for that is women our age, I'm talking to you older guys now. Women our age can smell it on us, right? They can smell it on us. You can't walk in there with a black leather jacket acting all cool on a first date, certainly online. First date and acting like you have no money and you're a cool guy and when you're 39. Okay, even if you look younger than 39, you can't do it because she'll say, so what do you do for a living? She'll want to know what you do for a living and she'll put you in that box, right? She'll put them in that provider box. Women certainly smelled that on me when I dated women my age or older back in the day. There wasn't anything, I could try everything. I could dress shitty and they could still not smell money on me, but smell providership on me. You know, I'm a guy who's in his 30s, 40s, father of two. I'm not going to be the young, cool guy. I'm just too old and so are you. So don't even attempt this. You have lots of advantages as an older man, over younger men, certainly with younger women. It's not like you should be crying anyway, so don't worry about that. And if you older guys really want me to do a podcast on how older men can date older women, high ASD women over 33, let me know and I will certainly do that for you, okay? But now we're talking to young guys. All right, so that means you are under the age of 35. You are between the age of 18 or the age of consent in your city or country, if that's lower than 18, and 34, okay? And the younger you are, the better these techniques will work for you in terms of cougar game. All right. And I actually don't like the word cougar because it implies that the only older women who will hook up with you if you're a younger guy is a cougar, a woman going after younger men. No. You can get with women who have never been with a younger man in her entire life. It's not that difficult. That's what I did in all cases. All the women I had sex with when I was in my early 20s, and there weren't that many, okay? But the ones who I did, they were not cougars. They were not women who liked younger men. They were all normal, older women who dated women their age or older. All of them, every single one of them, including the one I lost my virginity to, who was 18 years older than me. I was the first young man ever in her entire life. I mean, kind of makes sense because she was married. But anyway, but even before that. So, first step in this process is that, as always, you need to maximize your physical appearance. So if you're a younger man, part of the coolness of a younger guy is that you have a younger body, okay? And that in theory, you're better looking. Now, that's not exactly as true as it is for women, but some women view that as, well, a younger man has a better body or young man's dick works better and things like that. Sometimes that's true, sometimes that's not. But in all cases, in all scenarios, you need to optimize your physical appearance, which means in case of you're a younger man, if you're a younger guy, you're probably not fat, okay? You're probably not going bald. You probably don't have wrinkles, right? You don't have to worry about any stuff that we older fuckers have to worry about. But in terms of your vibe, your persona, how you dress, your hairstyle, you gotta look cool, okay? So here's the difference between younger men and older men. Women, including much younger women who are like 18-year-olds, are not expecting a man my age to look cool, as in have a cool hairstyle and a cool jacket. Now, if we do, it's even better, but they're not expecting it because, well, he's an older guy. How would he know? But if you're 25, you're expected to look cool, okay? You're expected to have a cool look. So that's the first thing you need to focus on is what is your cool look? And I can't tell you what that is. Some guys have spiky hair. Some guys like to have a shaved head and get really ripped. Great. These are younger guys now. Some guys have the more hippie, hipster look where they got the multicolored sweater and they got the big giant afro even though they're white. Whatever it is, I don't care what it is. You need some kind of cool look when you're a younger guy, okay? You have to have that, whereas men my age don't necessarily have to have. We have to pay attention to how we look, but we don't have to look cool because we're not expected to, but you are, okay? So older women are going to expect you to be young and cool and hip, right? That's the expectation they're going to have. So if you show up like, the nerd for Revenge of the Nerds and you're 25 years old, that's not going to turn her on. That's not going to get her wet. It's not going to work. Okay. So you need to cool it up a little bit. A lot of you younger guys, I hate to say this, I love you guys, but it's true. A lot of you younger guys are nerds. Do you think nerds get laid? No. Unless they're Bill Gates, right? Unless they make billions of dollars, then they get laid. Elon Musk gets laid, but he has billions of dollars. Do you know? Okay. So when you're a nerd, you need to unnerd yourself. I went through this process in my early 20s. I wasn't a nerd in high school, but I was in that zone. I was a big nerd when I was young, when I was like 12, 13, 14. So I had to kind of unnerd myself a little bit to get into high school so I could look normal. And then I had to unnerd myself a little more. So I went through this process, but you need to unnerd yourself. Okay? Don't be a nerd. Again, some older guys can come off a little nerdy because they have money, right? Or they have confidence. You don't have those things as a younger guy, most likely. So you can't be a nerd. So you got to, class it up a little, cool it up a little bit, cool it up. Okay? Clothes, hairstyle, vibe, cool. Got to be cool. Think cool. Okay. The next step is the persona you need to adopt. I've talked about this before, is the young, good-looking guy with no money. Okay? The young, good-looking guy with no money. All three of those aspects. So we have young covered. You're young. And the younger you are, the better. The younger you look, the better. And again, you have to be under the age 34, under the age 35. Young, good-looking, so cool it up. Okay? And it's easier for younger guys to be good-looking than older guys because you don't have baldness, wrinkles. You're not going to be as fat as us. So that shouldn't be a big challenge for you. Okay? With no money. Now, why is that important? As I've talked about ad infinitum about my blogs, my books, women over the age of 33 have skyrocketing spiked ASD where they are hypersensitive looking for providers. They're provider hunters. So every time a woman over the age of 33 goes on a first date, she pulls out her checklist of all the stuff that would make an ideal husband or boyfriend or provider. And she goes down the list. Well, what do you do for a living? Well, where'd you go to college? Let me look at your socks. Okay. Do you have any kids? And, right. She goes to this goddamn checklist. It's very irritating. I've been on many first dates with these women. It's irritating as fuck. And that's the box that she will immediately place you in if she finds out that you work at Google or Intel or Microsoft or you have a decent job or a decent income. Oh, good. Provider. Good. I'm going to date this guy. I'm not going to fuck him. I'm going to make him wait 5, 6, 7 dates before we have sex. And then as soon as we have sex, I'm going to run his life. Cool. That's the box she's going to place you in. And that's the challenge that us older guys have dating women our age. It's because we automatically get placed in that box. The way to stay out of that box, this is a loophole. The way to stay out of that box is to be the young, good-looking guy with no money. In other words, you remove yourself from the providership box. So now when she looks at you, this older, over age 33 high ASD woman, when she looks at you, she doesn't see a provider, right? This is why older women, even though they have high ASD, they won't fuck a guy like me on the first or second date, but they will fuck the pool boy. Why will they fuck the pool boy? Because the pool boy doesn't have any fucking money. The pool boy is not a candidate for being a boyfriend, right? Therefore, it, quote, in her insane feminine mind, doesn't count. So if she fucks him really quick, she's not violating her own ASD. I know that doesn't make any sense. Welcome to the world of women. That's how women think. Okay, that's how this works. So you want to be in the young, dumb, full of cum, no money pool boy. You want to be in that category. So when you talk to these women, it needs to come off that you're cool, but you have no money because hey man, I'm 25. I'm a millennial. I don't have any money. I'm so poor. I sleep on the couch with my friends, dude. And act like a teenager. Hey dude, hey bro, seriously, play that shit up. You want to be even a little dumb, not too dumb. Not too dumb, don't be too dumb, but a little dumb. Play up the fact that you have no money. Okay, you're the cool, good-looking guy, young, who has no money. If you start rattling off, if you younger guys who have good jobs, okay, you start talking about your good job and how you made $82,000 last year, boom, you have just destroyed your chances. You fucked yourself because now you've placed yourself into that providership box, that high ASD category that older men like me are in her mind. So don't even bring that up. Do not talk about your job. Do not talk about you went to college. Don't talk about college. Don't talk about job. Don't talk about computers. Don't talk about any of this shit. None. Just be cool and fun. Talk about her. Standard Black Dragon dating technique. Ask questions. Let her talk about her. You should only be doing 20% of the talking on the first meet. And so on, all the usual Black Dragon techniques I've taught for a billion years. I'm not going to rehash all those here. But I'm saying do that from the framework of you have no money. Step number 3. Your sexual approach once you have determined that she is into you. So once you've determined that there's some interest, okay? And you'll know, she sends you a text all out of the blue, or she gives you compliments, things like that. You need to be a little more aggressive with the older women than you will with the younger women or women your age. So what I mean by aggressive is you can go for sex much more quickly than I typically recommend. Usually I talk about second date or second meet. In some cases, you can go for sex in the first meet. Some cases. Certainly you can do that if it's social circle game, where you already know her or you know her through other friends. By the way, let me take a little tangent here, but it's very important. Younger guy, older woman game, the best way to do it is social circle game. Meet people through your work, meet people through your family, meet people through your friends, meet these older women's. In the workplace is great, but be careful about that. I have rules about not having sex with women I work with, so that's a topic of another time. But people you peripherally know, geez, women in your family? I don't mean have sex with women in your family. Meet older women through women in your family, okay? If you have sisters, moms, cousins, what have you, okay, meet older women through there. The best way to get laid using cougar game as a younger man is social circle game by far. Hands down, that is the absolute win. The reason for that is and I've talked about this before, when women are involved in social circle game, the ASD shields are much lower. So you have two advantages in this scenario. Number one is you're out of the ASD provider box because you have no money, you're a younger guy. Number two, her ASD is already much lower because she's met you through her normal life, right? She's not meeting you on a date from Match.com or fucking Bumble or some shit. She's not meeting you on a date. So on a date, her shields are much higher. Her shields are going to be much lower in a social circle environment. Now, am I saying that online dating won't work? Yes, it does work. I've seen guys do it. So you can be the good-looking 24-year-old guy with no money, right? And meet up with women who are in their late 30s using Tinder, Bumble, what have you, and it can work. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm saying the easiest way to do this by far is social circle game. And frankly, that's what I did. I met women through my work, and I had various clients back then. I was working in multiple companies, so it was easier for me. But that's the best way to do this. And so when you do this, when you're in this process, you need to be more aggressive about sexual escalation, and you also need to be more aggressive about contact. So under normal conditions, you don't want to be texting women all the time, okay? Every third, fourth day, this is prior to having sex twice, okay? But if she is an older woman and you're a younger guy, you might need to text her every day and keep following up until you have that second meet or whatever, okay? Whatever that is. Until lock-in, which is when you have sex with her twice. The reason for that is women over age 33 feel weird if a guy doesn't text them every day pre-lock-in. That means pre-having sex with her twice. Once you've had sex with her twice, you don't have to text her every day. Matter of fact, you shouldn't. That's a terrible idea. I'm talking about before that. So what I'm saying is you're going to need a little more aggressive in terms of your sexual escalation, pushing her to set up a first meet or a second meet or a third meet or what have you, following up with her via text. You need to be a little more aggressive on this stuff. Okay. And it's okay. It won't harm you as much because she's older and you're not a threat to her. You're not as much of a sexual threat. So it's okay to be a little more aggressive when you're 24 and she's 40. Okay. Now, when you're 24 and she's 19, you can't do that. Okay. I'm talking about, again, younger guys and much older women. Number 4 in this process, you need to fully understand her entire living situation. What do I mean by that? Well, when you're a younger guy dating older women, it is even more important for you to understand, because when you're a normal guy like me doing whatever I do, I don't need to understand these things, but you do. You need to understand several things. Number 1, what is her relationship status? Is she married? Because a lot of these women will be, okay? Long-term monogamy doesn't work. I've said it 10,000 times. And so a lot of these women will probably be cheating on a boyfriend or, God forbid, a husband. I do not recommend sleeping with married women, okay? I'm not saying I've ever done it. Long time ago, but I don't recommend it. I don't think it's a good idea. If it's a boyfriend, I think go ahead, fine. That's perfectly fine. But you need to be aware of this. What is her relation? Is she going through a divorce? Now, if she says going through a divorce, what does that mean? You don't just go nod your head and go, okay, and go to the next topic. What does that mean? Is she still living with her husband? Is she still having sex with her husband? Because sometimes that's the case. Women are going through a divorce, quote unquote, and they may live in an apartment or they live at home, the husband's in the apartment, but they still hook up and have sex. They're almost kind of together. You need to know the specifics of these scenarios because older women often have more complicated relationship living scenarios than younger girls do. You need to be aware of what you're getting into, okay? Next thing, how many kids does she have? Where are the kids? Who do they live with? If it's a shared custody thing, how does that work? How often? What days does she have free? What days does she have the kids? How old are the kids? So if they're, you're going to have one set of logistics. If she has like 2 or 3 little kids, you're going to have scheduling logistic problems, right? If she has a kid who's 19 and you're 21, be aware that some of this is going to be a little weird for her, okay? You need to be aware. That's why you got to be aware of these things, okay? By the way, that will not be typical. If you're going after an older woman who has a really old son, the odds are pretty good you're not going to get there. It's too weird for her mentally. I've talked about this in the past. Something else you need to know. What is her birth control scenario? I have spoken with a lot of dumb younger guys who seem to think that, quote, women over 39 can't get pregnant. You fucking moron. Yes, they can, and yes, they do. I have been not horrified. I've been very surprised last few years of seeing women I went to high school with. Okay, so these are women in their few years ago, early to mid 40s, having babies. What in the fuck are these women thinking? But they do. You have women today, it is now not uncommon whatsoever for women who are well into their 40s. I don't mean 41. I mean 44, 45, 46 to have kids. I don't know what these women are thinking. I think it's insane, but they do it. Okay. So be aware of this. Is she still able to have children? Did she get her tubes tied? If she did, awesome. Boy, are you going to have a good time. Oh my God. That was one of the reasons I loved the woman who I lost my virginity with, this older woman. She had her tubes tied because she had a kid a long time ago. It was fucking great. Have fun and enjoy it. Okay. But if she doesn't have her tubes tied, is she on birth control? What kind of birth control is she on? Okay. How old is she? Get all that information. You know this stuff. You should know this stuff anyway about women, but I'm saying it's even more important when you're dealing with older women because their lifestyle is a little more complicated. What is the relationship she has with her ex? If she has one, she probably does if she's older. Okay. Monogamy doesn't work. Most older women are either cheating on guys or have been divorced from guys because monogamy doesn't work. So know all these things. Very important. You need to go into this situation with both eyes open and you need to be aware of all of her logistics, her physical logistics, her body, her lifestyle logistics. And if you don't have these things, don't proceed until you know it's very important. I haven't seen this often, but I have seen examples of guys who started hooking up with younger guys now who hooked up with a much older woman and they didn't know these things and they got in big trouble. They got burned bad. So be aware of these things. Understand what you're dealing with. Number 5, and this is a sexual thing, be aware that older women know exactly what they like. This is much unlike younger women. So younger women, I'm speaking in generalities now. There are always exceptions. Every rule, the exception proves the rule. Younger women, you could kind of have sex any way you want, and most of them will just kind of go along with it and enjoy it, okay? Older women are not like this. Generally speaking, there are exceptions. Older women, unlike younger women, have fully experienced all the sexual aspects of their own bodies. They have grown comfortable with their own bodies. They know exactly what they like. They know exactly what they don't like, and they will tell you, in many cases, what they want you to do and what they don't want you to do. Respect that and do it. If she says, can you please go down on me? Don't say, go down on her. Okay. If you want to see her again, go down on her. If it's a one night stand, then do whatever you want. Okay. But if you want to see her again, you do what she wants. If she says, I really like to be on top, you better do it. Now, no, Caleb, what if I hate being on the bottom? Like I do. I hate being on the bottom. Well, then you have a decision to make, right? That's different. So if she has sex in a way, and I've talked about this many times, if she has sex in a way that you absolutely hate, then you shouldn't be having sex with her. Have sex, be nice, and then move on. Quietly and politely move on because you're not sexually compatible. Outside of those unusual scenarios, because usually that will not be the scenario, do what she wants, do what she likes. Don't refuse her. Don't ask a bunch of dumb questions. Don't argue with her. Don't say, I don't know how. Don't be stupid about this, okay? Do what she likes, and then she will love you long time. If you do what she wants sexually, okay, and you're this young guy with no money, she will see you for a very, very, very long time. Matter of fact, I'm going to roll into another aspect, a negative aspect of that in a second. But just be aware of that. Make sure you do what she wants. Now, obviously, corollary to that, she needs to do what you want, right? It's not a one-sided thing because some older women, a lot of older women are dominants and they will bully you around. So fine, do what she wants, but then she better do what you want. If she refuses to do what you want during sex, finish the sexual session and then leave. Say, hey, I'm sorry, this is going to work out. It's however you want to do it, okay? That's the topic of another time, how to break up with a woman. But this is not a woman you want to have sex with if she's that selfish, okay? Okay, and be honest with you, most older women will not be like that. Most older women understand what men like too, and what makes men tick. They understand men's bodies a lot better than most younger women do. So you won't really run into that. Sex with older women is pretty damn good. Generally speaking, most of the time. If you're a young guy, you only had sex with a few younger women your age, you might be really surprised what happens when you have sex with a 40-year-old for the first time. You're like, oh, this is pretty damn good. So get ready to have some fun. Number 6, and this is something that surprised me when I started dating women this age many, many years ago. And this actually applies to all men because it applies to a certain type of woman regardless of your age. And that is that women in their 40s are the horniest women on earth in terms of age range. You would think it's women in their 20s. Incorrect. You would think it's women in their 30s. Women in their 30s, mid 30s are pretty horny. That's very true. Women in their 40s, my experience, especially early 40s, they're monsters, which in a good way. They're maniacs. Well, Caleb, that's good. Why am I worried about that? I didn't say worry about it. I said be prepared for scenarios like this. I have encountered scenarios like this. Any of you of any age who has dated women in their 40s, over a prolonged period of time sexually has probably experienced this, where you'll get a text like at 6 p.m. In the middle of nowhere, like on a Tuesday, and she'll say, "Get over here." You'll be like, "What?" Like, "Get over here and shove your cock into me right now." She'll say that, okay? That's how these chicks are, all right? And you better be prepared to say, "Yes, ma'am," and soldier up and get over there, or be very nice and provide a good reason. Do not do things like, I've seen guys make this mistake, like, "Sorry, I have plans." She's going to explode. You want to talk about drama? You're going to get drama from hell, and you may never see her again. Women in their 40s are the only women that I have experienced anyway who actually get really, really angry when you can't fuck them. Women in their 20s and 30s, even if they get horny, if you say no, they go, "Okay," and usually if she's in her 20s, she'll just go fuck someone else, or she's in her 30s, she'll go, "Oh, okay, it's fine." Women will actually get mad. If you're not available for sex, be ready for this. And I'm also not saying every woman is like this, but a lot in their 40s. And I have been surprised in terms of women who've like been divorced for a long time, haven't dated for a long time, very Christian, churchy women in their early 40s. So they start having sex with you, all of a sudden they turn into monsters. So don't think, "Oh, she's a good little Christian, she won't behave that way." Wrong, oh motherfucker. Are you fucking kidding? You're wrong. I could give you numerous examples. Wrong. Just be prepared for this. Don't be surprised by this. Some younger guys are taken aback by this. Some men in their 40s who date women in their 40s are like, Jesus Christ, never seen this before, because if you're a lot of men who date maybe women 10 years younger than them, which is kind of typical, right? So maybe you're 43 years old and you usually date women who are like 30, 31, 29. And then you start dating a woman who's your age, 42, and all of a sudden she turns into a sex monster. Like, what the hell's going on here? Just be prepared for that. Don't be surprised. That's really it. That's the gist of it. This is much easier than you might think. If you do everything I've talked about in this podcast, you might find it surprisingly easy to get laid with women who are hot, who are over the age of 35. A lot of younger guys these days are spending all their time complaining about the hot younger girls on Instagram because I can't get any because I don't have a Lamborghini and Chads are fucking all the girls. And well, one quick solution to that is forget women who are under 35 and focus on women over 35. The world is full, especially today. This has been true for many decades now, but especially today. The world is full of women who are in their mid to late 30s, 40s, and even early 50s who are hot, who are good looking, have great bodies, trim, fit bodies, great faces, great hair. They're amazing. I strongly suggest you pursue this, or at least give this a shot if you are a younger guy, and I will see you in the next podcast. Have fun. Bye.